Corrida's room. Oh my, that's a lot of bears. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of thrown for a loop. Look how many bears there are. There's bears everywhere. Look at all the bears. That's a lot of bears. Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Okay, so we're kind of going from one complicated setup to another. So if you guys want to know the chronology of when I'm recording these, I recorded the last episode of Famicom Detective Club, whatever episode we're on at this point. And I recorded that this Monday's episode shortly before this. So yeah, last episode we discussed. Last episode of that we actually discussed a complicated murder plot, and here's not so different. We gotta have to actually defend. Maya's been kidnapped, and we gotta defend her from an issue. Yeah, we gotta defend her from an issue. We gotta kind of save her from a kidnapper and potential assassin. So yeah, we gotta get a not guilty verdict for our client, or otherwise bad things are going to happen to her. So we're just gonna have to go into the part 1-2 investigation and see if we can actually save Maya. But in any case, we're just gonna do all of that. That's just a long-winded setup for this episode. Are you excited? I am. Let's do this. Yeah. March 21st, 11:34 a.m. Wright & Co. Law Offices. Well, at least we're able to get Mr. Mountain Guard as our client. And we know he didn't do it, which is very important. So now what should we do? I don't know. We gotta investigate. Well, the trial is tomorrow, and we only get this one chance. There's only one way to prove Mr. Guard's innocence. You have to find the real killer. Okay, then let's start looking. All right, what do you got? What thoughts do you have? Since there's no psyche locks, then that means we can trust Mr. Guard to be innocent. Probably. I really feel much better knowing that. Ever since last night, I was so worried I kept wondering. What if he is the real killer? What then? That is a good point. What if he did wind up being the real killer? Hey, I have something I want to ask you, Pearls. Okay, what is it? Why are you so interested in how Maya and I get along? I mean, she and I don't have anything special go... huh? What do you mean? But I thought you and Missing Maya were... I've been mistaken all this time? No way! Ah, she really wasn't kidding. Pearls actually believes Maya and I are... Maybe I should have just left it alone. Mr. Nick, stop it. Don't hide your true feelings from me. Ow, she slapped me. Okay, well, in any case, that's that misunderstanding cleaned up. So let's just move. Okay, we got the detention center. We can talk to Matt and Guard if we want to. March 21st, detention center. Visitors room. The lawyer dude. So what did you find out? Well, I'm still in the middle of investigating. I see. But I've already told you everything I know, dude. Alright. What happened? Can you tell me about your activities last night? After I got the award, I took a break and went back to my room. I had the post-ceremony show to do, so I was in my Nickel Samurai costume. And you were alone the entire time. My manager was running around being busy, so yeah, okay. Because of the press conference you were supposed to hold after the show. I told you, dude, I have no idea about any press conference, alright? That's strange. I thought the Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. Anyway, when I was leaving my room, that's when I noticed it was kind of noisy. Mr. Corrida was already dead at that time? Yeah, that's what I gathered anyway from my manager. I began to gather that this guy can't do a thing on his own. And that's when the detective in the green coat showed up. He searched me, and then out of the blue, the dude arrested me. Okay, what about the victim? About you and the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. What sort of... That's got nothing to do with anything, dude. Man, with that face of his, you can't even tell he's the same age as me. And he wanted to try and make a Jam and Ninja movie, even though we all know it failed. The Nickel Samurai still won in the end, right? Yeah, I took the Grand Prix by storm. So what? Why would I, the winner, have any reason to kill the guy anyway? Dude, do you think it'd be the other way around, you know? That is a good... Well, just... just affirming that point. Alright, okay, so we gotta move, so we can only move from there to the hotel lobby from our room. So, yeah, we gotta go here from the law office. Alright. March 21st, Gatewater Hotel, hotel lobby. Also, this is apparently a different hotel from the one we're using. Hey, what do you think you're doing? You can't come in without... Good morning. Hold on, it's you. What is going on around here? I heard poor Juan was killed. Is that true? That's a bad one is what it is. Oh, a steel samurai doing the most evil of deeds. You know, that's not entirely... I'll have you know that just a few fan of Juan's. Why, oh why of all the stars I'm interested to drop like one by one like flies. It's always been that way, ever since I was a little girl. Okay, okay, I'm actually kind of trying to read, but, actually, I wanted to ask you about the murder, what happened. Huh, don't push me, boy. Mr. Nick, I couldn't hear everything she said, because she was talking too fast. Miss Oldback, could you please speak a little slower? Don't boss me around, you superhero smarty pants. Okay. Alright, well, in any case, what I was saying before this is that, this apparently is not the same Gatewater Hotel as it was the first game. Apparently this is a completely different hotel, but with the same exact name. They're all named Gatewater Hotel, but this is apparently the Imperial Hotel. I looked it up. Apparently it is a completely different hotel. Which makes sense, it looks a lot bigger. It makes a bit of sense that this would be a different hotel. But in any case, talk about you. That dear Hammer died a year ago in that dreadful murder. And only recently did I finally find a star that makes that heart go but-ump again. I don't know what to say. Oh, I ask you, why does every star I cheer for always end up kicking the bucket? Now watch your words. No one's going to get away with saying anything bad about my Juan. But I haven't said anything. Well, I don't believe a word that woman says anyway. Huh? What woman? That irritating backwater girl with the afro and the horrible country accent. I think I know who you're talking about. I mean, what is that matter of speaking supposed to be? And why does she never stop? Honestly, women these days, they don't know the meaning of the word modesty. But okay, she's talking again. Pearls, are you thirsty? A little. Okay, I'll go get you some juice or something. Thank you very much. Hey, are you paying attention, youngins, today? So I'm guessing Miss Oldback heard everything from Lotta. Alright, what happened? I want to ask you about what happened around the time of the murder. I don't know anything about that. I was here getting ready. Getting ready? For what? The show, of course! Well, and the press conference afterwards. Cue mysterious music for the magical press conference. Anyway, I don't know anything about the murder. I see. But... Okay, but if you're talking about what I saw, that's different. I saw it very clearly. What? I saw the most important moment of the night. What did you witness? The most important moment? You don't mean... Oh, so now you treat me with respect, you disrespectful child. When you speak to your elders, you should always be polite. Really, kids today. Please tell me, what did you see? Oh. 4! The murder last night was gruesome, wasn't it? But then, what if murder isn't? Please don't stray onto another tangent. Please. If you want to hear more, then you should respect and bring this lady a present. Oh. Okay, so I need evidence. Presents. I don't have anything to say to you delinquents like you. Please, anything would be helpful. And how about I tell you one of my measurements? No, really, that's okay. She really doesn't like you, does she, Nick? No, she does not. No, I know. Alright, well... The only other thing we can do is move to the Biola Hall. That's the only other thing we can do. Yeah, the hotel and stuff. I wasn't reading. I'm sorry. The hotel, options? Do we have an option to? Okay, the hotel stuff and okay. I wonder if we can do any investigating of our own in this kind of atmosphere. I forgot to read. I'm sorry. Well, got to go roll up the sleeves and try, I guess. All right, move. Hallway. There's got to be more information. March 21st, Gateway Hotel, hallway. Hey, you here? Been waiting for you, Mr. Lawyer. Lotta. Hey, Mr. Copfella, the thief showed his face. What? Arrest him, put him on trial, find him guilty, give him the death penalty. What's gone wrong, Lotta? Are you feeling alright? I'm not. Looks here, up and there, and up and down the mountain, but it ain't here. So why don't you just hurry up and give it back to me, you creep? What are you looking for? My camera! Camera! It's my lifeblood. I'm gonna die without my $700 camera. Your camera? Look, don't lots of people say the criminal always go back to the scene of the crime? Yeah, but I haven't seen a camera. And looky, here you are. You seem to be wagging your finger a little bit there. I'm the one who does. If I've known anything about this game and about this series, it's that Phoenix is supposed to be the one to wag his finger around. He's the one who's supposed to be wagging his finger around making accusations. Not you. That's not your job. That is my job. Please leave it to the professionals, please. Yep, here I am, faced with a lot of trouble. Huh? Alright, where's your camera? Camera! So you lost your camera. It ain't no ordinary camera. You buy it in a store and it's a $1,600 brand. Huh? But didn't you just say you bought it for $700? I had a nice long talk with the guy at the store. About 5 hours, I'd reckon. I made this itty-bitty scratch on it and the manager got all huffed up into my face. He gave me a talking to and was real mean about it too. He done made me cry at that. When did you lose your camera? Last night after a murder happened. Must have been when I was busy running around looking into things. That's when I lost sight of my dear, darling, expensive sweetie. What did you capture with that expensive camera of yours? I don't rightly know. I snapped a shot of anything that caught my eye. So I don't remember. And besides, I couldn't get anything from my big scoop. I wonder if Law's missing camera is even connected to the murder. Alright. Alright, it was stolen around the time of the murder. What happened? Law, please tell me what you know about what happened at the time of the murder. Oh, from before the ceremony last night, I was hanging around here in this area. Yeah, actually, I was here until around the time Mr. Engard was arrested. What were you doing here? You sure you went to school, city boy? Whenever a lot of heart goes, there's a story to be found. A big scoop to be had. A big scoop. I told you before, I'm gonna be the best tabloid photographer the world's ever seen. Reckon, of course, that means I'm always looking for the perfect shots. No wonder what scoop she was after this time. Although, I was also on the lookout for the other stars that were here. So, maybe I wasn't here the entire time. Big scoop. Lotta, are you sure you weren't here the entire time? So you can take a picture of your big scoop? Well, maybe I was. But that's what real journalists do. I got some juicy inside info, so I thought to myself, why not get a picture for proof? What kind of story was there that you wouldn't hang around here? Psyche-Box. 2. Oops, sorry, Mr. Lawyer. Can't be telling you that. This trade secret, you know? Not again. Why does everyone have something to hide? We even stopped, or haven't we? Haha, yeah, take that, Mr. Lawyer. I'm glad someone around here is happy. Miss Lotta and your I rule smile. Okay, well that's not helpful. Oh! Oh, now we get to go move into these hotel rooms that we weren't able to move into before. A guard's room. Ooh. Okay, so that's the poll from this presentation. March 21st, Gateway Hotel, on guard's hotel room. Where are we? We are in Mr. Matt on guard's dressing room. This is our client's room. May I help you with something? Hello? You're Mr. Engard's lawyer, correct? I gathered as much. I also looked for lawyers on my end, but to no avail. How did you know I'm his lawyer? You were just saying that he is your client. In a situation like this, the only person who would use such a word would be his lawyer. Wow. It's a simple deduction, really. The trial is tomorrow, and Mr. Engard's situation is looking rather grim. So you came here, one stop in your mad dash to find clues to build this case, correct? Yeah, pretty much, thank you! Well, you're not totally right, but you're not totally off either. It's really not the time to be shown off, Mr. Nick. I am Adrian Andrews. I hate to waste time, so let's get down to business. Alright. She may be a small stature, but her appearances can be deceiving. Night of the murder. I assume the first thing you need to know is what everyone is doing at that night, correct? Yes, that is correct. Then I will tell you. Before the award ceremony, I had dinner with Mr. Engard. What are you holding? In this very room, I might add. Dinner, what did you eat? I told you, I hate to waste time with trifling details. If you took a look at the table yourself, you wouldn't need to ask me. I bet she's a lot of fun at parties. When the award show was starting, I headed for Viola Hall. And after the show ended, you came back to this room? No, I had some small errands to run. I helped with the preparations in the lobby. Oh, preparations for the post-ceremony show, I guess. When it was time for the post-ceremony show, I came back to call for Mr. Engard. After that, I went to visit Mr. Corrida. And that's when you found his body, isn't it? You really had strong through everything. Yeah, she does seem to be mentally tough as nails. Relation to Engard. So about you and... Stop right there. You aren't seriously about to ask how Mr. Engard and I are related, are you? Sorry. I have no idea how he could choose you as his lawyer. Why did she have to go and say something like that? Mr. Nick, calm down and hang in there. I'll give you a shoulder rub to relieve your stress later, alright? I already gave you my name earlier, but I'll add that I'm Mr. Engard's manager. His manager? Speaking of managers, did the victim, Mr. Corrida, have one? No, he did not. He didn't. Global Studios has a very different policy from Worldwide Studios, from that Worldwide Studios does not assign individual managers to their stars. I see. This industry is very ruthless and unforgiving. Actually, you look quite ruthless and unforgiving yourself to your poor partner. Dragging a little girl like her to places like this, honestly. You're wrong. I'm doing this to help Mystic Maya. Pearls, calm down and hang in there. I'll buy you a juice later, alright? Alright, what else can I do? I can examine. Alright, what did she... Looks like dishes left over from dinner. A dinner for two, at that. I'm sure they're Mr. Engard and Mrs. Andrews' plates. Looks like they had T-bone steaks. Well, what's with Global Studios and T-bone steaks? There's a giant bone sitting on the plate. I don't really like the meat. There's something weird about this plate. I just wish I could put my finger on what it is. There's no knife. I think I know. There was a knife on this plate, but not this plate. And they presumably ate the same thing. There's some samurai-looking clothes on the sofa here. I think that jacket-looking thing is called a happy. Whatever it is, I'm sure something like that would make a great souvenir. Maya would be absolutely thrilled. Alright. Alright, what is this? It's probably Mr. Engard's suitcase. For someone who's only going to be here for the award show, this is a lot of stuff. Looks like he has about 3 days worth of clothes in here. Stars really are different from us, aren't they? Yeah. Oh, there's some... I didn't examine this. That's the bedroom over there. That's a bed? Wow, they have really big beds here. What else? I can't talk to you about anything else to present. You were the one taking care of the arrangements for this press conference, right? Yes, that's right. But Mr. Engard said he didn't know about it. Is that what he said? Huh? Actually, I didn't know all the details either. It was a request from the publicity department. All I did was help out and do what I asked. Do what I was at. Okay. Oh, I see. I wonder about that. I wouldn't take her to be the type of person who does something without knowing the details. Can I present this? Alright. Okay, so this isn't... Alright, she's holding something weird. Other than that, I don't really know what else I can talk to her about. Corrida's room. Oh my, that's a lot of bears. I'm sorry, I'm just kind of thrown for a loop. Look how many bears there are. There's bears everywhere. Look at all the bears. That's a lot of bears. Mr. Nick, where are we? We're in Mr. Juan Corrida's room, Pearls. Mr. Corrida, the victim. Which makes this the crime scene too. Oh, it's you. So, what's happened? The kidnapper? Has he contacted you again? Not yet. He probably won't until we win Mr. Enguarde's acquittal. You're doing okay, pal? Hanging in there? I just want Maya to be alright. Also, I can't do Gumshoe's voice because I'm sick. With something, I don't know. Not COVID, but something. I just want Maya to be alright. We don't have a lot of time left, but I'm going to help you as much as I can, pal. Can you do that? Even if we want to look around the crime scene. Just this once. Special circumstances, right, pal? I'll even tell you everything I know, but you gotta keep quiet. It's my neck on the line here. Thank you. Oh, that's right. I got you the guys a map of the hotel, pal. Here you go, little missy. Wow, think you're giving it to me? Thank you. Haha, wouldn't want you to get lost in a hotel too big for its own good. Mr. Nick, I got a map. That's great, Pearls. But Mr. Nick, I can't read what it says. Of course not. Okay. Well, now we have a map of the. It should be in our court record, right? Yeah, here it is. Oh, that is a small hotel. Oh, it's only a part. Okay, I didn't read that for a second. It's only a partial. It's only partial. So it goes beyond this. But this is all we got. Alright, talk to me. Cause of death. Do you know what was the cause of death? Well, technically, the final autopsy report isn't out yet, but one look at the victim should tell you, pal. It should. Yeah, here's a picture. Oh. Oh, well, there's a knife. Found it. There's a knife in his chest. Yeah, pal, that's the murder weapon. So he was stabbed to death. They're looking at the fingerprints down in the lab right now. There were fingerprints on the knife. Yep. And it looks like they're pretty sure they're Mr. Enguarde's prints, pal. That's bad. Real bad. Alright. Alright, reason for arrest. Why was Mr. Enguarde arrested? Because we had evidence on him. Evidence? It looks like that victim, Juan Corrida, really put up a big fight. Oh. Yeah, one look at the crime scene and you can tell. There's signs of a struggle everywhere. Well, yeah, during the fights, his button came off. Mr. Enguarde said something about a button. Something like, one of the Jam and Ninja's buttons got caught in his hakama. But that's not all. What? There's a witness, pal. A witness? Who is it? That lady, Miss Oldbag. Well! Fun! Please, anyone but her. The prosecution has plenty of evidence to make a solid case. Not to mention there's something around where the victim was a little off. Something that's a little off. As in, that's for you to figure out, pal. Alright, let's try to figure it out, Mr. Nick. Alright. Presents. Alright. Alright. Okay. That's your present from the kidnapper, huh? While you're talking, it sends and receives radio waves. If we could trace that... Yeah, we could use it to find out where the bad guy is. It uses radio waves, huh? I got it. I'll go find a radio scanner and let you borrow it, pal. Okay. Present. What do you know about this? Alright. You look at this photo and you can't help it. It makes you want to say, I can't believe this is the scene of a murder. Stabbed with a knife after a struggle. A clue is sleeping in this photo somewhere, I know it. Alright, well... Examine. That's the only thing I can... Look at all the goddamn bears. Wow, there are a lot of bears. Yeah! There's a lot of bears! Look at all the bears! Alarm clock horns, collector's editions, stuffed teddies, plastic models. It's pretty overwhelming. Is there a kind of bear he doesn't have? There's even a few in the trash can. Yeah, I get the feeling maybe the guy didn't really like the bears. Poor teddies. It's hard to bear with all these problems. Growl. Why did we remember his face? I don't think I want to bear with the trauma the last case caused me. What's wrong, Mr. Nick? Alright. Can we slide? Yeah. Right, there's... bottles of cosmetics are scattered all over the floor. This is probably where Mr. Corrida fought his assailant. Where are these bits of glass from? A flower vase, maybe. There are flowers on the floor, but I don't know what they are. You don't know that much about flowers, do you, Mr. Nick? Alright. This is a guitar case, I guess. A little beat up, but still usable. That's strange. The guitar is not here. Maybe he forgot to bring it to the show? But Mystic Maya, she said that the bright red guitar was a Jam & Ninja's signature item. That's true. Huh? This guitar case is wet, but it's only wet on the top of the lid. Yeah, there's no water inside the case. That is water, isn't it? Interesting. Alright, thank you for that information. Robo Bear. Okay, there's too many goddamn bears. It looks like Mr. Corrida had dinner last night. This bottle is tomato juice. We had a lot of food at the award show last night. But I wonder if the stars had gone out on stage after only eating a meager meal like this. So that's a bed, right? Yep, it's big, but it's a bed. Ah, Mr. Nick! It's so soft! Big beds must be a rarity for her. Alright, well... Ooh! It's a beautiful wine glass, and there's tomato juice in it. Ew, tomato juice. I don't really like it much. There's a bottle of it on the table over there. That's probably where this came from. But doesn't it seem weird? What seems weird? I mean, everything else is scattered all over the floor. She's right. The flower vase was broken and the makeup is strewn everywhere. Why is this glass the only thing that's still alright? Huh. Well, that's evidence. Huh. Well, we might as well investigate everything. It's a suitcase. There are so many things in it that I bet it's barely closes. There's his closet, his clothes, a dryer, an electric shaver, a calculator. Do all stars pack so much stuff like Mr. Corrida? Well, there's the table again. It's so messy here. Pearls really likes things neat and tidy, I take it. There are a lot of electronic things in here that I've never seen before. Hey, Mr. Nick, tell me what they are, pretty please. Okay, that over there is a watch. You wear it on your wrist. I know what a watch is. Oops, for a second there, I forgot I was talking with Pearls, not Maya. Alright, well I don't think there's anything else, but... Oh, the fridge. There's all sorts of things in this refrigerator. The carrot juice bottle and the tomato juice bottle are both empty. Empty? It's too much of a hassle to throw them away, I guess. They're all vegetable juices. I guess he must have been a real health nut. Oh! There's a beet, some ketchup, and a bottle of strawberry jam, too. Maybe red was his favorite color? Present? We have some things to present to you. So, about this wine glass. Ah, so you noticed it, pal. The whole crime scene was a mess, but this glass was the only thing that was untouched. You noticed that too, Detective Gumshoe. No, actually, Miss Von Karma noticed it first. Yeah, Pearls noticed it before me too. Hey, wait a minute. So, does that mean Miss Von Karma's here at the hotel? Yeah, she's around. Man, you're going to be in so much trouble, pal. Especially if she catches you in here. Well, you can bet the instant I see her, I'll be running the 1,000-meter dash. Uh-oh. That must be the transceiver. What's that beeping noise, Mr. Nick? I've heard this sound somewhere before. It's Miss Von Karma. Huh? For some reason, whenever I hear that sound, she pops up out of nowhere and whips me. Come to think of it, that's exactly what happened the last time. Sorry, I gotta make myself scarce. Later, pal. Ow! Well, here she is. At last, you reveal your true nature. Mr. Phoenix, right? Oh, Christ. Okay. Well, would it be too much to ask for you to be nice to me for a change? So, you're the type to steal information from pitiful, hopeless detectives. That's very dishonorable of you. Ow! Hey, don't you dare run away, scruffy McChurcoat. Ah. I didn't think the detectives of this country could be this pitiful. Ah! Detective, come here for a second. Yeah, okay. And he's gonna be dead. Yep. I feel better knowing at least you were man enough to face your punishment. He was so scared he just froze up on the spot. Mr. Fake's right. You have soiled my perfect prosecution record. I'll never forget that. This time, victory is mine. Victory is yours? Is that all that this means to you? What? Humph. Come, Scruffy, the investigation briefing is about to begin. Yes, sir. This isn't over yet. I swear on my family's honor. Bye. Ow, what did she throw at me now? What is this? Well, I guess this means I've got to get back to the precinct now, pal. If you ever need me, come down to the Criminal Affairs Department, alright? And if you can, try not to let Miss Karma see you. Alright. Well, there's nothing else we can... Court record. What did we just receive? Oh. Oh, that's there now. What is this? To Nick. What? Mr. Nick, what's this piece of paper? It's called an autograph. Autograph? The paper's got Mr. Corrida's name written on it, so that's his autograph. I can't read it at all. To be honest, I've never seen writing that looks like this. It's a special way of writing called cursive. Look here, see how it says, "To my dearest Wendy" in the more normal letters? This sloppy, unreadable writing? It's crazy and cruel to give this to someone. Hold on. Wendy, I've heard that name somewhere before. Mr. Corrida's okay. Well, that was a... Oh, that was the gift we need to go give her. Alright, time to move then. Hallway. I actually want to go back into our guard's room and see if I can get some more information from Miss Andrews here. Presents? I'd like to ask you about this. Okay, I have more evidence to give you. Why are you not helping me? I want to help. I want you to be helpful. Oh, it's a trifling matter. It's a trifling... Oh, you don't think you're important? Oh, take away that layer of sarcasm and she really does seem to hate herself. Well, okay then. Okay, what else can we talk to? I asked to become Mr. Enguard's manager. He's a pleasure to manage with his nice disposition. Mr. Enguard does seem like a rather weak-willed man, always doing as he's told. He's always saying my manager, right, Mr. Nick? Well? Oh, wait, no, we didn't, I haven't done what I actually need to do. Because now we know what... There's a giant bone sitting on this plate. I don't really like meat. There's something weird about this plate. I just wish I could put my finger on what it was. Court record. Okay, that's not helpful. Alright, well, I guess that's all we got. Oh, we got a thing here. Okay. What do we got here? Thing? Show yourself, thing. I like things. Oh, Mr. Wright, how are you? Mr. Powers, how have you been the entire time? Yeah, people who are connected to the murder aren't allowed to go home, let alone leave. I mean, you're in a luxury hotel, so I guess that isn't necessarily blessing in disguise, I guess. Not necessarily a bad thing that you're stuck in a luxury hotel. So, Talk, the German Ninja. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Nickel Samurai TV show? Okay. The Nickel Samurai is an action hero program aimed toward kids. It's the sequel to the Steel Samurai. I see. This time, there are 3 samurai brothers. Aluminum Samurai, Tin Samurai, and of course, the Nickel Samurai. It's a love Y in Neo Tokyo. I see. Wait! A love what? A love Y. This girl, Sayo, works at the tea shop and all 3 guys fall for her at the same time. Oh, I guess the Y ship is like the 3 brothers colliding over this one girl. Anyway, Sayo is actually the daughter of the evil Strawberry Clan's leader. Sounds like an unusual situation. Like Romeo and Juliet. ×3. Yeah. Strange thing is, this sort of forbidden love story is really big with the office ladies. I can see why. Yes, Pearl. What happens next? I want to know. Mr. Sayo. Does Miss Sayo fall in love? She does, doesn't she? Every Sunday at 8 a.m. I'm going to stop watching Kids Masterpiece Theater starting this week. I can't believe she's really considering it. Alright, German Ninja! So what's the German Ninja TV show like? It started from a remake of an old movie, to tell you the truth. The German Ninja, like the Steel Samurai show, is geared toward kids. It's the story of a ninja who can't scale a wall, but became a big pop star anyway. What? He was a really lousy ninja. Absolutely couldn't do a ninja things right at all. But boy, could he sing! With his trusty bright red guitar in hand, he took the ancient world by storm. A ninja with a bright red guitar? And then the final flight in front of his beloved Princess Misola. German versus the Murmurachi 5. Suddenly, a brave hero catches a not-so-German cold the night before Battle 3. Aw, that's too bad for him. Yeah, but this kind of pop music-based love story is something high school girls really like. Yes, Pearl? What happens next? I want to know. The German Ninja. Will he be able to sing? What about Princess Misola? Every Sunday at 8. Which show should I watch? I can't believe she's really considering it. Alright. Alright, well, thanks for your help, sir. Hotel lobby. Talk? I actually have a thing for you. That's not what I want. I have a thing for you. Here you go. I don't have anything to say to delinquents like you. Grr. She's clamming up like the old clam she is. Please. Okay. Well, we have evidence, so I think it's time to use the Magatama. Alright. This is probably about what you witnessed. Alright, I'll be honest with you okay, then please, tell us what you saw. But, what a waste. And here I have a perfectly good chance to have a little fun at you young'uns' expense. I am a little devil, after all. Doesn't that imply you aren't a good person? Alright, I'll give you what you want. This thing. That's Juan's autograph! Yes, it is. And here it says, "To my dearest Wendy," on it. That's me, right? Right? My name is Wendy Oldbag, so that Wendy has to be me, right? Well, it may say Wendy, but somehow I don't think Juan had this Wendy in mind when he signed it. Oh, please, give it to me. Let me have it. Please? I can't let you have it just like that. Yes, I know. And how about exchange? Oh, well, that's... Wow, she must really want this autograph. My offer isn't good enough for you? Fine, Mr. Wright, you win. Wendy Oldbag, ready to open up her heart. All for my dearest Juan. Well, okay then. That's funny. That was a big thing. That was just a big thing. It was setting up this big intimidating thing, but present the autograph and she breaks down just like that. I thought it was going to be this long, lengthy ordeal where I was going to have to present so much evidence. And it turned out it didn't even matter. It deliberately fell on its face, and that's funny as hell. Alright, but in any case, now we can actually ask her what she witnessed. I feel bad for you for now. Huh? I tell you, I saw him that night. I saw him coming out of Juan's room. You're kidding. Oh no. It was about 10 minutes before Juan's body was discovered. It was just a coincidence. I was on my way to the toilet minding my own business. And did you tell that to the police? Well, of course. I thought I could get a gift certificate or two out of it, maybe more. Gift certificate? I've been recruited again for that part of the trial. You know, the trial tomorrow. This time, you're gonna get it. And I'm gonna work hard to get your client pronounced guilty. The restaurant guard hasn't done anything bad. I don't care about details like that. I know he did my dear boy Juan in. I just do. That yellow-bellied chicken. A yellow-bellied chicken. I wonder what that would look like. I trust my senses. I know when someone did something bad, and I say he did it. What did Mr. Enguarde ever do to her to deserve this? Enguarde's past. What did Mr. Enguarde do to you to make you so? You don't know? That guy, he framed my Juan. He created that scandal that plagued poor Juan. Mr. Nick, what is it? What's a scandal? Oh, I'll tell you about that after we get home, okay? Poor Juan, led astray by the wiles of that vile temptress. Mr. Nick, what do vials and wild temptresses mean? Ah. How about we just listen to what Miss Oldback has to say for now, okay, Pearls? Yeah, he doesn't want to have that conversation with her. So, Miss Oldback, who is this woman you're talking about? Adrian Andrews, of course. Who else? That guy. He shoved the girl onto Juan on purpose. His own manager? But why? I thought the lawyers were smart. It was to create a scandal to make Juan lose face. That girl drove Juan into a scandal that dragged his reputation through the mud. Sounds like a pretty standard definition of a scandal to me. Why do you know so much about that anyway, Miss Oldback? I'm one of Juan's biggest fans. I am always out there gathering information. There's nothing I don't know. And do you have proof that Mr. Enguarde did what he said he did? Next week's issue of a certain magazine says so. Of course. A tabloid. Next week? Doesn't that mean it's something people don't know about yet? Why would Miss Oldback have information like that? And where did she get it? Hee hee hee. Alright. Well, the only thing I can think about... Criminal Affairs Department. I can move to the Criminal Affairs Department now. Well, I've got some things for Miss Andrews that I need to go talk to about. Motive for murder. Do you have any ideas? As to why Mr. Corrida was murdered? Why would you ask me about such a thing? I'm just doing my job, so do you have any ideas? And she's hiding something. And she's actually got a fourth thing. Miss Andrews? Sorry, but there's nothing more I have to add to this conversation. Is it a Psyche-like, Mr. Nick? Yes. There's getting to be more and more of these lately. What record? Well, I think we have an idea. So it seems that Adrian... So it seems that Adrian and Juan had a bit of a thing. So... I wonder if I can present his profile picture and see if we can get a reaction out of her. Did you know the victim, Mr. Corrida? Yes, I knew him. The world is such a small place, after all. Did you know about his rivalry with the Nickel Samurai? Honestly, they were like children when it came to that. Time and time again, those two competed with each other over the most trivial things. If either one of them wasn't so stubborn, then maybe no one would have had needed to die. I've got a hunch that this woman knows more than she's letting on. She must know why Juan Corrida was killed. Yeah, she's not letting up that her motive. So I gotta just kind of hallway. I don't think I have enough evidence to prove. Alright, well, I've gotten everything. Move. Criminal Affairs Department. That's the only other thing I can think of. March 21st, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. That's the only thing I can think of. It doesn't look like Mr. Scruffy Detective is here. Great. Now even Pearls is calling him Scruffy. Thanks, Francisca. They said something about an investigation briefing earlier, right? Why don't we come back and try again later when they're done? Okay, I guess that's all we can do, right, Mr. Nick? Alright. Alright, there's nothing here we can investigate because it's the Criminal Affairs Department. We can go to the detention center and... No, we got nothing. Presents? Alright. Okay. Well, I don't really have any other ideas. We could go back to the... We've done everything. The only thing we haven't done is Lotta's thing. So we could go do Lotta's thing. I think we have all the evidence we can have, so we should have everything to do this. Let's see if this works. Alright. Big scoop. Alright. Lotta, will you please answer my questions? On the night of the murder, why were you loitering around the victim's room? I told you, didn't I? For my scoop. What I want to know about are the details of this scoop. That's not something I can tell you. I mean, that there's my bread and butter. Alright then, an unpleasant tabloid photographer looking for a scoop. I'm going to say that you were looking into a scandal. Grr. Could it be that you, Lotta Hart, were looking for a break with a huge story? Perhaps an unforgiving scandal between Juan, Corrida, and this person? Okay, so that is the information that we needed. Profiles. Present. This woman. She's Adrian Andrews, Matt and Guard's manager. The Nickel Samurai's manager, caught secretly meeting with his rival, the Jammin Ninja. It would be the hottest story of the season, wouldn't it? You're pretty good at this guessing thing, Mr. Lawyer. But you can't just make up any old thing and think it'll make the papers. You gotta have backup. Backup? Yeah, you gotta have that. That what's it? News sauce. You mean news source? That's it. So show me something that shows that one guy had something with Miss Andrews. Hmm. Well, there's this thing. Alright, I don't think I have enough evidence to do that, so... Alright, so the only other thing I can think of is Andrews herself. So we're gonna try and talk to her and see if we can break through her thing. If not, I may be in trouble, but I think we can. I think we have enough information. Why was Juan Corrida murdered? If you ask me, I think you know the reason he was killed. Why are you hiding things? Don't you realize you're putting Mr. Engarde's life in danger by your actions? Why do you ask questions for which I have no answers? The truth is, I was not that close to Mr. Corrida. You were not that close. That's right. I've never been good at being intimate with another person. You are not good at being intimate with another person. Somehow I highly doubt that. Profiles? Well? Alright, well, the only thing I can think of is her. She had a thing? She saw you. So... That's why I don't think you're gonna ever be intimate with you. Okay. So I guess you're saying I'm both depressing and stupid? But I am certain you were close with the victim. Say what you like, but just don't have any proof. You're not good with being intimate with another person? Well, I don't... Alright, I don't think I have enough evidence to do this. Well, alright. I'm gonna look some things up, because I am stuck. Oh, I got it. Okay. Hold on. Feel the hole. Present? Yes, present. Okay, that's not what I want to present, but thank you. That's not what I wanted to present, but thank you! I'm glad he's happy that I defended him. I didn't really read that, but... Yeah, that's Miss Andrews. She's Matt's manager. Actually, I was interested in her for a little bit. Just a little. So Mr. Powers likes this type of woman. What do you know about Miss Andrews? Well, see, here's the thing. I don't really know her. You know? There's sort of a small rumor going around about her right now. A rumor? Alright. Ah, if you're interested, I'd be glad to share what I know. He's so happy he looks like a lion that's just found his next meal. Okay, let's talk. Gossip on Adrian. Would you mind telling me about this gossip? Ah, so you are interested in it. I figured you would be. Yeah. I have such a weakness for celebrity gossip, too. Oh, really? You too, huh? Yeah, so take a look at this. Looks like a tabloid Miss Obag would read. Alright, let's see here. Chairman in my midnight rendezvous. To the mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Miss AA. You see now, don't you? What? You can stop pretending to be in the dark, Mr. Wright. Juan Corrida didn't have a manager of his own. Which means, if we're talking about a certain manager with the initials AA... Adrian Andrews. Yes, exactly. This is big news. But it seems kind of odd. That woman, Miss Andrews. Together with the biggest rival of her client? Ah, that would be a wonderful thing that can only happen between two people. And Mr. Powers looks so happy. Pearls is just following along, not having any idea as to why she's smiling. Well, like the saying goes, one man's garbage is another man's treasure. Alright, thank you for the magazine clipping. I think I have... court record. Check. A gem in Midnight Rendezvous, a superstar in an ultra-hot mega-secret love scandal? Rival sources say that Juan Corrida has been getting in close with a mysterious yet beautiful manager of the stars, Miss AA. Alright, well now we should be able to... Hallway. Presents? You. And now we should have all the evidence we need to break your thing. That should do her. Big scoop. Alright. Alright, and now we have the information we need. Profiles. As long as we don't screw this up, we'll be fine. Presents. Alright, that's one. And now we know the other one is the news story. Now that we have the evidence, we can break the thing. So get out of here, Mr. Psyche Lock. This is the article from a certain weekly tabloid. Gem and Midnight Rendezvous. To the mysterious yet beautiful manager to the stars, Miss AA. Ah! Mr. Corrida didn't have a manager of his own. What's more, his rival, Mr. Unguard's manager, Adrian Andrews. She has the initials AA. You see this article and then thought to take some pictures of them as proof. That's why you were looking around Miss Corrida's door last night. Ah. Alright, thank you for the info. And that fulfilled me entirely. Okay. That was a rough one. Big scoop. You were looking into Mr. Corrida and Miss Andrews' affair, weren't you? You got it. I wasn't. I was gonna get myself a scoop by catching him in a secret meeting. But there's already an article about it in one of the weekly tabloid magazines. It's no longer breaking news. What'd you just say? Our initials are AA. What kind of vague thing is that? That ain't no proof of nothing. People are gonna want to see real proof. Well, at least I do. So that's what I'm doing. Getting photos. Oh. Or at least you were until you lost your camera. I'm gonna whip up the reader's interest with some gossip and a little misleading. Then spice it up a little and have myself an exclusive story. Wow, a lot of nice journalistic integrity we got there. Yeah, they're not allowed to change anything. They're just allowed to say what actually is said. I already finished writing up my spicy article, you know. But the paper I wrote it on, my note to myself, it's gone. Your note to yourself? It was inside the case of my $1,600 camera. They done run off together. I came here for my big story. Didn't come here to have my treasure disappear on me. Yeah, I understand. That's enough to make a gal go bonkers, I tell you. What's with people nowadays, anyway? I never thought I'd see the day when someone done steal something from me. You really wanted that note back, huh? I've got no idea why, though. The story on that note is probably a bold-faced lie. Alright. Alright, so the court records have been updated. There's nothing else we can do. Maybe... We don't have enough evidence to prove... hotel lobby. Maybe we can go back to the Criminal Affairs Department now. Yes, okay. Yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out where you need to go. But in any case, March 21st, Police Station, Criminal Affairs Department. Detective Gumshoe said they had an investigation briefing. Yeah. Oh, he's back. Hey, so you came, pal. Why the blunt greeting? Because there's nothing to be friendly or happy about. What do you mean by that? Well, things look perfect this time around. The evidence and testimony are airtight. But, we can't just roll over and die. We have to stay positive. Alright, what else? Talk. Airtight evidence. So you mean the evidence is airtight? I can't give you all the details, pal, but there's two big pieces. Two? And both of them are in this photo. Oh. The first is the button that's missing from the victim's chest. Uh-huh, I see where it's missing. That's the button that you found during your body search of Mr. Guard? Yep, I found it in the folds of the Nickel Samurai special pants. And the second one is? The knife is in the chest, pal. The fingerprints on the knife in his chest, to be exact. Fingerprints? Whose are they? You didn't even have to ask, Little Missy. It's obvious. They're Mountain Guards. Tomorrow's trial. Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Alright, airtight testimony? What is the airtight testimony, sir? So about this airtight testimony? It's that old secretary lady, Miss Oldbag. I thought so. What do you mean you thought so? Did she tell you something, pal? Well... And I even told her not to open that mouth of hers and blab to anyone. Her blob knob is stuck on 10 and there's no turning it down, trust me. Yeah, well, Miss Oldbag saw it all, pal. She saw Mr. Guard come out of the victim's room around the estimated time of death. No way! Alright. Presents? What do you know about this? We're pretty interested in this bit of gossip ourselves. A scandal with Mr. Corrida? But why? Well, 2 years ago, a woman committed suicide. What? Suicide? Her name was Celeste Impacts. And she was Juan Corrida's manager. That's why he doesn't have a manager. She killed herself. Okay, that's interesting. The victim's manager. But that's not all, pal. Miss Impacts was Miss Adrian Andrews' mentor. She taught Miss Adrian Andrews everything she knew about the business from square one. Her mentor. A woman who was both Miss Corrida's manager and Miss Andrews' mentor. Could her suicide have something to do with this case? Do you want to know more about her, pal? Yes, please. Talk to me. What do you got? She was the victim's manager and was also Miss Adrian Andrews' mentor. It's been 2 years since her suicide, and now that those two are linked again by another death. Or maybe that's just a coincidence. But, wah! And here she comes. I'm getting sick of dealing with one foolish idiot after another. Miss Von Karma, you can't seem to stop allying yourself with the enemy, can you? I don't need a traitor in my midst. You don't mean... I do. Scruffy. You have 30 minutes to get out of here. You are no longer needed. Goodbye. That's... Wait. Please wait, sir. If I don't get this month's pay, it's quiet. If it weren't for traitors like you, I would have won. Is that what you want to say? Who? That voice. Edgeworth? It's been a long time, right? Hi, buddy! How you doing? This person. This is Mr. Edgeworth? What am I going to do with you? Still blaming others when things go wrong. You haven't changed a bit, Francisca. You. How dare you show your face to me without a shame upon it? You soiled the Von Karma name, dragged her through the mud. You even ran away with your tail between your legs like the ill-bred dog you are. Are you talking about the Von Karma family creed? To be perfect in every way? Then let's hear it, Francisca. How are things going? I hear you are having a rough time maintaining perfection in this country. You seem to be getting crushed under the weight of it all. That's why I came back. Keep your assumptions to yourself. I haven't given in yet. I won't lose. This case is mine. I'll never hand it over to you. Never! Mr. Phoenix Wright, I will see you tomorrow, in court. It will be a clinical lesson of the meaning of total victory. Still the same wild mare she always was. Well, how are you doing, Mr. Edgeworth? We haven't seen you in a long time. I thought you, the prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, had gone and died. Mr. Nick! I never wanted to see you again. I think that's enough of a warm welcome for someone you haven't seen in a year. Are you going to run tomorrow's trial? You heard her, right? That wild mare hasn't given in yet, it seems. So no, I don't think I'll be making an appearance. Your hatred for me is quite unhealthy, not to mention one-sided. But I will say one thing. You can't win on your own at the trial tomorrow. What is that supposed to mean? Exactly what it means! I have something that definitive that you lack. And working together is the definition of teamwork. It's the power to find the truth. The truth. In order to understand this case, you have to understand a certain truth. Well, if you ever feel the need for my assistance, it is available to you. I'm not in charge of this case, so I can be a bit more generous with information. Just what is going on inside his head? Proof of Von Karma's blood. A lot of things may have happened, however, Man Von Karma was still my mentor. And a perfect win record is proof of a Von Karma. 1 year ago, you could not establish guilt in a few cases. Are those losses the reason you suddenly disappeared from the prosecutor's office? Did you leave because you had lost your perfect win record? To think your motivation for prosecuting trials was so selfish. It'd be better for everyone if you never came back from the dead, Edgeworth. I see. Now let me ask you something. Why do you stand in the courtroom? What is your reason? Why stand in court? Well, with Francisca, she almost always says, I will defeat you this time the instant she sees me. But the courtroom is not a personal battlefield for prosecutors and lawyers. I stand in the courtroom to defend my client. To save their lives. To save your client, you say. Those who think only of their own ego-driven goals. Those kind of prosecutors are reprehensible to me. Even if you're a prodigy. Or someone like you, Edgeworth. It looks like there is still a lot you have yet to learn. A lot I have yet to learn? Me? Well, that's enough for now. The time when you will see is coming soon enough. Well, can I present anything to you, or are you just here? I have no interest in... Okay. Okay. Okay, he's not helping me. You haven't seen a camera, have you? Okay, this isn't... Okay, he doesn't care about any of the evidence. Still, it can't hurt to check. Alright. Well, and since that's not helpful... Hallway? Well, now we should have all the evidence we need to break through her. She's gone. March 21st, Gatewater Hotel, unguarded hotel room. Looks like Miss Andrews isn't here. That's not good. I still have a few questions I want to ask her. And she has that psyche lock on her heart, right? Well, we don't have much of a choice. I guess we'll have to come back later. Alright, well, that's not helpful then. Hallway. Alright, there's nothing in here. Hallway. Move. Viola Hall. Hotel lobby. Did you hear about from this? Alright. Well, the only other thing I can think of is the detention center. What do you think about this article? If you're talking about her thing with Juan, I always thought she was a bit careless in the way she handled it. And that's it? That's it? Well, okay then. Alright. Also, I love Edgeworth's theme for this. What about this? You have a prosecutor. You disappeared suddenly a year ago. This woman is another key to solving this case. Do you really think so? She was Adrian Andrews' mentor for a long time, but she was suddenly called away by a different show and became One Corrida's manager. And then, a few months later, Celeste Impax died. But her death was ruled a suicide, right? Yes. But there's still one riddle we've yet to solve. A riddle? Her suicide note. It went missing. No one could find it. A suicide note that just vanished, huh? Alright. Adrian Andrews. She holds a large secret within herself. A secret? You can't help but feel that this whole case revolves around her. Alright. Into leads. But we can only look into a few key players with our limited resources. Okay. She'll tell me straight and say, I don't have any info. Okay, so only people who are relevant to the case. Well, that was abroad. These deplorable types of actors became popular, I take it. Well, refreshing like a spring breeze is his motto. Refreshing? It was so refreshing about a spring breeze. Sounds like the pollen is not treating him well this year. Alright. There's an interesting rumor about this man. You hear about Miss Andrews getting close to him? Well, that's pretty common tabloid fare, isn't it? I don't take things at face value when there's more to be found. Alright. Okay, so this isn't... doesn't really have anything to help me. Oh, missing suicide note. There it is. Miss Impax's death was most certainly a suicide. Of that, there is no mistake. However, we could not find her suicide note. That's when the police began to suspect that someone had been hidden it. The suicide note. But how do you know Miss Impax had even written such a note? There was no solid evidence, however. We did find trace of ink on her right index finger, which makes the likelihood of a suicide note very high. But who would hide such a thing? The police think it was Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? He was the one who found her body, which makes him the only person who had the chance to hide her suicide note. Mr. Corrida his own manager's suicide note? But why? As long as her note is missing, any speculation beyond this is meaningless. For now, I think you should look this over. This is the suicide report. Part 1, anyway. Part 1. Okay, thank you for the information. Alright, now we have some evidence. Court record. I don't like to look through the reports. I like Silver reports even less. Worst of all are the reports that have multiple parts like that one. That has 2. 2 parts? What you just handed me is the first... What you just handed me is the first part of the report. Here's the second part. The second part of the report is about an attempted suicide. The attempter's name is Adrian Andrews. Miss Andrews? What did she do? She tried to kill herself. She doesn't seem like the kind of person to try to kill herself, though. You think she's a strong career woman? That's just what she wants you to think. Adrian Andrews, she has a certain secret she's always trying to hide. A secret? Her dependent nature. That's what she's really like on the inside. Miss Andrews, dependent? Talk about the exact opposite of what that woman is. Alright. Alright. Court record. Do I have both parts of this now? Okay, never mind. Alright, dependent nature. What's this about Miss Andrews having a dependent nature? Adrian Andrews' attempt at suicide was a few days after the death of Celeste Impacts. And why did Adrian Andrews think about committing suicide? Because she had apparently lost her will to live. Lost her will? But why would she... Her pillar of strength, her mentor Celeste Impacts, was gone forever. That's why. Why would that... Is that what they call following someone to the grave? That's... okay. After her attempted suicide, Adrian Andrews started attending counseling sessions. She is someone who needs a person in whom she can trust absolutely. And once she finds that person, she'll do anything she can to keep them near. Without such an anchor in her life, her crippling anxiety stifles her ability to live. And that's the nature of her dependency on others. When Celeste Impact suddenly committed suicide, the world before her turned pitch dark. That's according to Adrian Andrews herself. Then, that means her super confident attitude. It's all a facade. She's only copying her mentor's behavior to hold herself together. How terrible. Alright, attempted suicide report added to the court record. Alright, well thank you, Edgeworth. Well, now that we know all that information, we gotta go find Miss Andrews. She should be in the hotel room. She should be back at least. March 21st, Gatewire Hotel in guards room. Okay, so now we have all the information we need. Oh, Miss Andrews is here. But it looks like she's talking with someone. That's Francisca Von Karma. Crap! Miss Von Karma! What are you doing here? Well, you see, I'm his lawyer, so... You've got some nerve following me around. Well, I didn't expect you to be in the same area 3 times. I was just... That's a happy coincidence. Following you? That's you, Miss Von Karma. You're the one doing the following. Pearls... You're always following after that Mr. Detective with the low beard. Me? Following after Scruffy? Don't make me laugh. Let me show you something interesting. Little girl. Oh. Okay, so she's got a tracking device on him. Okay, so that's how she's that's how she always knows where he is. What is that? An electromagnetic receiver. I planted a tracking device on that detective. And with this, I know that fool's every move. So that noise we heard was this receiver. I feel really sorry for poor Detective Gumshoe now. Now then, let's stop wasting time. Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. What were those two talking about? Miss Andrews, she seems a little dazed, doesn't she? Well, we have all the information we need to get through her thing. So we should be able to do with it now. Alright. Alright, so present? Present! Let's do this. It's time to finish this chapter off. At long last. Motive for murder. Okay. Why was Juan Corrida murdered? If you ask me, I think you know the reason he was killed. Why are you hiding things? Don't you realize you're putting Mr. Engard's life in danger by your actions? Why do you ask questions for which I have no answers? The truth is, I was not that close to Mr. Corrida. You are not that close. That's right. I've never been good at being intimate with another person. You are not good at being intimate with another person. Somehow I highly doubt that. It's either this or or I go into the profiles and present your mentor. I'm gonna present this and hope I'm right. I'm very back in. Okay. Alright, well that's not helpful. Okay, so I was indeed wrong. Alright, evidence, present. Okay, that's it. You and Mr. Corrida had an intimate relationship, did you not? A silly third-rate tabloid article. If you even had half your wits about you, you wouldn't believe such rubbish. Well, it seems quite a few people have already bought into the story. As to be expected in a world filled with crooks and liars. Note to self, stay on our good side. In any case, I despise interpersonal relationships like that. I see. However, what if there was a need for you to get close to someone? Me? Need to get close to Mr. Corrida, as if there was ever such a need. Didn't you get close to Mr. Corrida for this person's sake? Oh. Okay, now we got it. Celeste Impacts, your mentor. How do you know about Celeste? Perfect. Miss Impacts, she committed suicide, didn't she? But it looks like no one knows why. Right before her death, she was Juan Corrida's manager. So, I believe you got close to Mr. Corrida so you could find out more about her suicide note. You have a great imagination. You may have a future yet as a slimy muckraker for the putrid third-rate tabloid. Miss Andrews? There was no mystery surrounding her death. None! It would be pointless for me to force myself into a relationship for nothing. Is that really true? Was there really no mystery at all? I don't believe you were completely at ease with the way her suicide was resolved. Alright, evidence. Suicide report. It has to be a suicide report. Yeah. Miss Impact's suicide note was never found, was it? It looks like the police were under the suspicion that someone had hidden it. Like maybe the person who discovered her body, Mr. Corrida? But Juan? And Miss Andrews, I believe you thought the same thing. That's why you became intimate with Mr. Corrida. Well, we're breaking through her psyche lock slowly but surely. I've sat by quietly and listened to your insulting ramblings long enough. It's true that Celeste was my mentor, however, allow me to say this again. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't even know that her suicide note was ever found. I'm a person who doesn't care about what goes on in the lives of others. That's the impression you like to give, however. I don't think that's who you really are. What? I have evidence that says otherwise. This is proof that Celeste Impacts was someone very special to you. Present. Miss Andrews, you nearly went through it with it too, didn't you? Went through with what? Ending your life. Miss Andrews, you look and act like a very strong woman who has it all together. You don't ask for anyone's help, relying only on yourself. Yes, I've been very independent ever since I can remember. However, that is all just a lie, a facade. You've always searched for out people on whom you can depend on. You were dependent on Miss Impacts, weren't you? Which is why, when she passed away, you lost everything you had. Stop! Okay, she's got one psyche lock. When Celeste passed away so suddenly like that, I died a death of my own, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop thinking about what had become of her note. You must have heard about it, the police report. The one that said the police suspected Mr. Corrida of hiding Miss Impacts' note. You heard about it, and thought to recover from him by getting close, am I right? If that's the case, then everything changes. What do you mean? What topic did we start the conversation on again? It was, why was the victim killed? Exactly. Somehow, Miss Andrews, it seems that you have become the one with a reason to want Mr. Corrida dead. Me. Miss Impax was everything to you. And then she died. And you would do anything to find out why she killed herself. Even commit murder. Murder? Okay, that broke her final lock. And that restores her health back to full. Okay. So now we have everything we need. Motive for murder! It's true. I'm a woman who can only live in insecurity. I'm physically small, and I don't really have a lot of self-confidence. I've pushed against all that, though. I've tried to live strongly. I never wanted anyone to find out the truth. Miss Andrews. This one thing. It's the one thing I wanted to take with me to the grave. It was my secret. Mine and mine alone. I'm sorry. You probably think I'm a worthless human being right now, don't you? Please, Miss Andrews. All I want to know is the truth. After Celeste passed away, I heard that someone had hidden her suicide note. And that someone was Juan Corrida. Celeste. Without her, I became scared. Everyone seemed like they were out to get me. So you got close to Mr. Corrida to recover her suicide note, correct? Looks like that tabloid reported the truth after all. Ironic, isn't it? Well, like they say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if they purposely add fuel to the fire, they keep the celebrity world burning. But as for the suicide note, I didn't and wouldn't kill anyone for it. It just doesn't suit me, that's all. Well, that's enough for now. Still have work to do, so I understand. Oh, I have one small favor to ask. My attempted suicide. I'd like for you to keep it a secret. Miss Andrews. If people found out about my weakness, I would sooner choose to die than live. Alright, I understand. We'll keep it a secret. Miss Andrews. I guess she's the overthinking type. She probably never says anything without carefully thinking it through first. Thank you for your discretion. Mr. Nick, can I ask you something? What is it? Miss Andrews has been playing with that card in her hand since a little while back. That card? Yeah, I guess she has. Miss Andrews, what is that card you're holding? Huh? Oh, this? I don't quite know. It just suddenly appeared in my handbag. What is it? It looks like a seashell. That's what it looks like, doesn't it? I honestly don't remember owning this card. I wonder where I picked it up from. Her not remembering something clearly? Sounds like it would be a rare occurrence. Well, I must be off. I leave Mr. Ungard in your capable hands. Alright, so... Oh! March 21st, Gatewater Hotel, hallway. Well, I think we've gathered about all we can. What about Mystic Maya? Is she alright? Oh, Pearls, she looks so worn out by all this. She hasn't slept at all, and has been walking all over the place with me today. What's wrong, Mr. Nick? Let's go back to the office for a little while. You're really tired, right? Oh, no! I'm okay, really. I'm fine. I really am. You don't look fine to me. Alright, there's only one, Yellow Hall. Hotel lobby. Okay. March 21st, Wright & Co. Law Offices. So, what now? Well, we did find one thing out for sure. Miss Andrews had a motive. You mean Miss Impax's suicide note? That's right. She was also the one to discover the victim's body. Clever. Oh, that's the transceiver. Ah, Mr. Nick, the transceiver. No, Wright & Co. Law Offices. Mr. Attorney, you're not answering a phone. Maya! Where's Maya? As I promised, I have not gone within a few feet of her this whole time. Which is why, I suppose, she is absolutely famished. What? So I suggest you want a quick acquittal, my friend. At any cost, wouldn't you agree? Wait, Maya, let me hear her! Very well. Ask my... Maya, is that you? Sis, ask my sis! Maya! Damn it, he cut me off! Mystic Maya said, ask my sis, didn't she? Sis? What does she mean by that? Come on, Phoenix. You're a hopeless one. Sorry. Ack! Hello! Mia! I have a message from Maya, so come. Ask me anything you want about her. Well, okay then. Hi! Nice situation. How's Maya? She's safe, for now. That kidnapper is one to keep his word, it seems. I'm glad to hear she's safe. But Mia, how did you know? As soon as she was locked up, Maya called for me. I read the note she left. Then I gathered as much information about her surroundings as I could. I didn't know you could use spirit channeling like that. Pretty smart of her. Kidnapper. The kidnapper. What's he like? I don't know. Apparently, Maya went to answer a phone call at the hotel and was drugged there. And? She didn't see the face of her attacker. Maya's locked up in a very dark place right now. I'll tell you everything I heard when I was with her. When you were with her? Ooh, date. Oh, the baby. Okay. I'm starving. I could really go for some apple pie. I mean, at a time like this, sweets are the only way to go. I have to stay positive. He promised he wasn't going to kill me. I'm not going to die. Sis, I wonder if you're with Nick right now. Drat, it's locked. But this door's lock seems pretty easy enough to open. On TV, the hero always used a plastic card or a stiff piece of cardboard. Then click, they magically open the door. I wonder if there's a card like that around here I could use. Ooh? Huh? Someone dropped a card here. It kind of looks like a business card, but there's no name on it. It's the same card. It's a picture of a seashell, I think. What a strange card. Ah, that's it. This shell card. If I use this, maybe I can get the door open. That might be my key to out of here. I had a feeling this might be useful. I'm such a genius. Alright, now if you'll excuse me, Mr. Kidnapper. I did it! Okay, now I'm getting the heck out of here. I shouldn't keep Nick waiting. Or worried. Oh, it just ends. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, I think I'm gonna leave this episode here then. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. So... Alright, so interestingly enough, it's the same card, but that was an interesting little side story. We actually have a bit of information about what actually happened to Mr. Corrida, possibly. I think, apparently Miss Adrian Andrews, her mentor died. Corrida's presumably hid the suicide note, and she went looking for it. And also tried to kill herself in the process when she couldn't find it. So, yeah. That's going to be interesting, and also we have built as much of a case as we can, so... And now Mia's involved as well, so that's going to be interesting. I really don't know what's going to happen, though, because we still don't really know how we can actually prove Mr. Ungard not guilty. We have to, obviously. We have to get a full acquittal, or Maya's going to die. That's the stakes that have been established in this final episode of Justice for All. Not final episode of the LP, not by a long shot. There's still another game we need to play. But in any case, I think I'm going to leave this episode here, and we're going to worry about that for next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter in the description below if you want to keep up to date with what's going on with the channel. Also, be sure to help support me by following me on Patreon. By pledging to me on Patreon, you can actually help me make future videos, preferably more complex ones that take longer to make, because I currently only really make Let's Plays and stuff, but I'm trying to work on other stuff. And also, be sure to check out my website, because I post written reviews over there, so go check those out. I also list you on my website if you pledge to me on Patreon, so go check that out. Also, be sure to check out my Twitch, because I stream regularly over there every Sunday. If you guys want to go check that out, then by all means, link is in the description. We've been streaming Miitopia for the past several weeks now. If you guys enjoy Miitopia, or preferably want to send me some Mii codes so that I can actually use your Miis in the streams, then by all means, go send them to me. And finally, if you want to see more content from me, then be sure to check out the videos linked in the end screen. The top video is the most recent video. It may or may not be this one. And the bottom video is the video recommended to you based on what you've already seen from me. So if you want to try something new, or just to see more of what you like, then be sure to check both of those videos out. But regardless of whether or not you do any or all those things, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!